Yes, that is a myth.
Yeah.
Big myth. As a matter of fact, I think that the majority of your job creators come from small business. I mean, look at what keeps our rural communities going.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at the small mom and pop stores that are being ran out of business by.
And actually, you and I are job creators. Every time we go to the store and buy something.
Because you're putting that money back into your local economy
right.
and your local community.
That's right.
I am in firm belief that if you have a corporation that wants to, I don't know, say put their office somewhere overseas just to avoid paying a tax here in the United States, they're wrong.
Yeah.
That's un-American, and that may be strong language to say, but we have to hold these corporations accountable. Yes, you are going to pay your share of the taxes. You are going to do what's right.
Maybe there should be some accountability. Maybe they should actually explain what they're going to do for this tax break they're going to get.
Yes, sir. I mean, it should be more transparent.
Yeah.
Everybody should know where their tax dollars are going to.
Yeah.
We need to know where these corporations are putting their money into.
Yeah.
And you know who they're standing up for. Because 9 times out of 10, these large corporations are not standing up for middle class workers and families.
Right. September 11th, 2011, a horrific event occurred in this country. Since then, we have been involved in Afghanistan and Iraq, our nation's longest wars. And these adventures seem to really be pushed almost to the back pages of the newspapers now. But we still have people coming home dead, maimed, traumatized from these wars. And a lot of people are saying, well, why are we there? But the debate, even the debate, doesn't seem to occupy much space on the nightly news anymore.
That's true. And having served in both of those conflicts, coming back home, that was one of the reasons why I decided to run for Congress. I mean, right now we're talking, like I said before, 14% unemployment rate among returning veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan. We have individuals that have been diagnosed with PTSD that need help.
Right.
We have our veterans right now. I mean, they fought for us, and now we have to fight for them.
Right.
I mean, I think more emphasis should be placed upon our veterans and what they need, because our veterans, when they come out of the military, they already have the commitment, they already have the dedication, valuable skill sets that we can put to use right here within the Northwest District of Arkansas. Right. I'm proud of my military service, and I did lose good friends in both of those conflicts. Yeah. But I can say this much: we did some good things in Iraq. We did some good things in Afghanistan. We built schools. We, helped drive women back into those programs that they had been forgotten about before. So, we did empower quite a few people. And I think if it's not a good story, if it's not something blowing up or people getting killed on a daily basis, I think the media doesn't give it much attention. And it's sad, because regardless of how you feel about the war, you should support the troops.
But then, we support the troops, but then again, how long should we be there?
Well, I believe, honestly, that the work, especially in Iraq, can be done by our special operations troops and smaller units that can take over that role, and you can get that big footprint of these large battalions and brigades out of there.
Because for more and more people, Afghanistan is starting to resemble Vietnam in that we seem to be propping up an ever-increasingly corrupt government like we were in Vietnam, and people are just wondering, why are we there? Because the people were there to help. Somebody said just put all the women and children on planes and move them out of the country, or give all the women AK-47s. That might be a good answer. But so there doesn't seem to be a really good solution to the Afghanistan problem.
No, and when it first started, obviously we were attacked on 9/11.
Yeah.
One of the most horrific events in history of the United States. We went to war, and we got, the individuals in charge of doing this to us as a nation. And we have been over there too long. And the longer we're over there, the more lives are going to be cost, the more blood is going to be spilled. But one thing about it, we have set up a democracy, so to speak. But I believe now that we need to start withdrawing our troops from there, leave those specialized units on the ground, and let that country begin to run itself. Let them choose their own individuals to put in power, instead of individuals whom we back and individuals that we want to see in office. Let that true democracy get to work.
Now, speaking of military adventures, yesterday, Governor Perry suggested that it might be time for the United States military to take part in Mexico to help Mexico deal with the drug cartels?
I mean, well, honestly, we need to bring our troops back to the United States and worry about correcting the problems that exist in the United States.
You don't think we should bring them back just so we can send them somewhere else?
No, our military and our men and women have been through I think I've been through 3 deployments, each over 12 months apiece. Our military men and women need a break.
Yeah.
Because it brings such stress and strain to the service. That's especially a volunteer service.
Yeah.
And we need to give our fighting men and women a break.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done so much for us, and we need to start looking at ways to take care of them and their families. On and off topic of that, I mean, if you look at the divorce rate among the Army, you're talking close to 65%, I think is the figure.
It was when my father was in the service too. I mean, I knew the pressures people were under too. Yeah. This was 40 years ago.
Yes, sir.
But it's like it seems to me people want to see the military as the go-to people for everything now, you know. And it just seems to be sort of insane when you have a police action, just, you know, send the Army down there to deal with the drug cartels.
No, they need to take some initiative and deal with their problems themselves.
Yeah. Speaking of Governor Perry, and we all love to speak about Governor Perry, and I know you probably watched it's kind of like watching a slow-moving car accident involving people you don't really care for. Watching the Republican debates, what is your sense when you watch them?
Well, the sense that I've watched them, it's mind-blowing to say the least. Especially when the soldier asks a question and is booed by members in that audience for his alternative lifestyle that he chose to lead. No, it's wrong. And I don't understand why nobody stood up for that soldier, even though that soldier was homosexual. Who cares? Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you're homosexual or not. You have a right to serve this military if you want to serve this military. And he simply voiced his concerns to members, you know, maybe even a possible president there in the mix, and he got booed by the audience.
He was somewhere they were not.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I think the more I see of those debates, the more it becomes apparent that it's just a circus.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority, well, I would say all of those individuals are nothing but a suit.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to sing the same old song and do the same old dance.
So I guess Herman Cain's coming to Northwest Arkansas. He's going to be here at the Lincoln Day dinner.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
That will be interesting.
You were talking about drug testing, about welfare recipients. How do you feel about that?
Well, I believe you have to look at welfare. We don't, and I was asked this question before about what do we think about welfare. And bottom line is we got money in welfare that people that need to receive it are not getting it.
Right. And
people that are receiving it, some people don't need it.
Right.
I mean, there are some senior citizens that are falling through the cracks that need this help. I believe you have to take a look at it and think of a creative solution to come up as far as making it better and reforming it. I don't think there's an overnight answer. Nobody's going to be able to wave a magic wand and welfare is going to be sorted out within the next 2 or 3 years. I do know, however, they did attempt drug testing in Florida.
Yeah, and it turns out that Governor Scott had financial interest in one of the clinics that was doing drug testing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. He made a big stink when he went on TV and said that he honestly believed that most of the people on assistance were drug abusers. It's like, you know, I've been on food stamps, decades ago. And, I mean, it's just the arrogance of people like that.
And had it not been for food stamps when I was coming up, because, you know, I came from a family without much money, we wouldn't have been able to make it a couple of months.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not ashamed of that at all.
No, in fact, I was on food stamps.
I think we do need to look at ways that to get that money to people that do need it.
Yeah.
Because there are people that do need it that are falling through the cracks.
Yeah. Do we feel, what are some issues that you wish would be addressed that just haven't been addressed? Did you look at the news or look at Congress and you look at Congress and you think, you know, they couldn't deal with a traffic light issue right now because this is I try to keep up on American history, but I really do think this is not the laziest Congress, but it's willfully lazy. It's not that they're lazy, but it's like they're determined not to do any work.
Well, they're out of touch. They're so far out of touch with the needs of people all across this country.
Yeah.
We don't really have anybody that's really standing up and saying, no, we're going to do things, we're going to do things right, that we're going to do things that the voters want and that the people need. We really don't have that many people standing up for, people like you and me.
Pericles in Athens used to, when Pericles was leader of Athens, they used to have a lottery system for when people used to govern, pick out the names kind of like out of a hat, but I guess that may not always work,
Honestly, I don't think we need as many career politicians as what we have.
Yeah.
I mean, being a politician, being a congressman, being a senator it's a public service.
Right.
It's not meant for you to stay there for so many years.
Right.
And it's a public service.
Right. But anyway, to get back to the question, when you look at Congress, when you see people give speeches, when you watch the news, and you say, why aren't you talking about this? What are the issues that you say, why aren't you talking about this?
One of the main issues that I think we need to specifically address, and I think we need to bring up, obviously, Medicare again. We need to keep bringing that up because it's wrong. And I say that many times, and I'll continue to say it because it affects my grandfather. So basically, it affects my family.
Yeah.
I want to see more attention put on Medicare. I want to see something done about it. I don't want to continue to see, with those proposed cuts alone, it's going to, as I might have mentioned before, over 9,100 seniors are going to be affected here within the Northwest District at a cost of over $80 million in 10 years.
Right.
And that's from prescription medication costs.
Right.
We need to look at a way of attacking this in a correct manner so that our senior citizens are taken care of. Another issue, obviously, more attention needs to be given towards our veterans.
Yes.
They come back home, they come back to an area, there's nothing here for them.
Right.
We need to look at ways of retaining these veterans and our young kids to keep them here in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And we also need, especially here within this district,
yeah.
we need to look at getting the right industry in here.
Yes.
That third point might not be a national thing, but I think it needs to be hit hard, heavy on. Burger joints are good, but we need real corporations that are going to take an active interest in staying within our region, and
right.
That people can be proud to say that they work there.
Right. The Postal Service is just like under attack, and almost every country in the world has a postal service. People in Russia, and I don't get mail from Russia, but I get mail from Germany. I get mail from England. I get letters from people. Obviously, email and Facebook cuts down all that up. Every Christmas, I get Christmas cards from people, and I get packages from people. And every country in the world has mail service. It's like, are we going to become a third world country without a postal service where we're going to pay massive prices, gargantuan prices at UPS or Federal Express to send things through what used to be the mail?
That's a good question. If you were to think about it, if the post office were to collapse and it were to completely go away, UPS and FedEx would have a corner on the market.
Well, they made the Postal Service fund 75 years of their pension fund in 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. So,
yes, sir. And I'm in support of the labor union, the postal labor union. I don't think you can sit there and clamor down and say, no, we need to cut this, we need to cut that. You cannot do it without having one-on-one talks with the people that run these places.
Right.
You need to find out where this money is being wasted,
yeah.
where it's hemorrhaged at,
yeah.
and you need to come up with a solution, a viable solution.
Yeah.
Just simply standing in Washington saying, oh, no. You need to get back to your district. You need to talk one-on-one with these labor union leaders, and you need to meet with people in the Postal Service and come up with a creative solution to continue to make sure that it's successful.
I heard one GOP congressman within the last week just say, well, there's just too many human beings working for the post office. That was the solution. There's too many human beings working for the post office.
I wonder what he would like to have put in place of that then.
Yeah. This is the Sarah Palin question, and everybody involved in politics gets to get the Sarah Palin question. It's not if you like skinning seals or not, but it's where do you get your information? What do you read? That sort of thing.
Oh, what type of books do I like to read?
Yeah.
I enjoy reading political autobiographies. I'm currently reading a book now called Waiting on an Army to Die, talking about the effects of Agent Orange and how that our government has sort of played that under the table until recently when it got open.
I never heard of that book.
Very good book. Very good book. I also just finished reading up, let me see, what was it? Bill Clinton, My Life and My American Journey. And even I just finished reading up the new autobiography by George W. Bush that he wrote since he was out of office, Decision Points. So I enjoy being active in reading a host of different things.
Yeah, where do you get your daily news?
I like to browse different news sites. Obviously,
Yeah.
I prefer local papers.
Yeah.
I like to read local papers. I'm in support of local press. I enjoy reading the Courier, for example. I also enjoy reading Northwest Online, and also Arkansas Times, Arkansas Democrat.
And now you're on Twitter and Facebook.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You've been on Facebook for quite a while.
Yes, sir. Actually, I first got on Facebook due to the nonprofit work that we did.
Yeah.
And we had tremendous success with getting people involved, and it's free.
Yeah.
You don't have to put any money into it unless you do specific advertising
Right.
on there. But we've set up events and stuff for our nonprofit, things that we did, and we had people come out to that simply because it was on Facebook. It's amazing to see, especially the younger generation. Everybody's on Facebook nowadays.
Facebook's sort of fascinating. I mean, it's amazing to. It's almost like really it's virtually bumping into people you haven't met in decades.
That's true.
On Facebook.
That is so true. As a matter of fact, I'm engaged and soon to be married to my childhood sweetheart, and we reconnected on Facebook.
Really?
So,
That's pretty cool. That really is cool.
not many people know that, so she sent me a letter back down on Facebook, and we moved away when I joined the Army, and she moved to a different part of the state, and we reconnected, and we'll be getting married next month.
I like that story. Well, Kenneth, even if you don't win next year, at least you're going to get married.
That's right. That's right. And, I believe we're going to win next year.
Yeah.
I feel very confident, and I know this because, one, we're getting out to these communities now. We're letting people know that they have a choice.
Yeah.
We're also letting people know that, I'm a middle-class individual just like them. I make $7.75 an hour. I'm running for Congress, and you can step up and become involved too.
Well, I think that's important, and I think people will be glad to hear that someone is out there speaking to them, and I think people are looking for someone who's going to go up and talk to them.
Yes, sir, and we need someone that's going to hold Congressman Womack accountable for some of the things he's done here in this district.
Yeah, maybe they're tired of a congressman who just scowls all the time.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't have an answer to every problem out there, but the one thing I would like to say is that if elected to Congress, I do promise to work hard for the residents here within the district, and I do promise to put their needs first, and thus we say people first, politics last.
Okay. Well, Kenneth, my director is doing some kind of weird yoga position on top of the control panel, so I think he's trying to tell us our time's up for the day. So I want to thank you very much for being on the show today.
Thank you very much, sir, and I've enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you all for watching, and get out there and register to vote. Now we just
This is Laura Kellums with Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, and you're watching Public Access Television in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
This little light of mine